This is the Milo Beasley Show. This is the Milo Beasley Show. There's only one thing you need to know. This is the Milo Beasley Show. And now, here's your host, Milo Beasley.
And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show. Dude, we are here for part 2.
So nice, we got to do it twice.
Of course, yes, of course. I wanted to touch upon, first off, my guest this week, Greek God Papadon. We started to touch upon it on the last time we talked on your conspiracy theory podcast. And I'm not one to get into conspiracy theories, but I like to read what people are talking about.
Okay.
So your podcast, a little quick recap for those who maybe didn't catch us or.
Well, everyone and their mother nowadays has a podcast. Usually it's always, and especially with all these indie wrestlers in the wrestling business, it's always about wrestling. The podcast I'm a part of, it's not my podcast, it's a group podcast. It's 4 wrestlers. Myself, Bin Hamin, Stevie Richards, and Big Sal Graziano. We don't want to talk about wrestling. We might talk here and there about a topic or two, or talk in the verbiage used in the locker rooms between wrestlers. We concentrate on conspiracy theories. It's a different podcast. It's just boys, guys in the locker room, the boys, just sitting back and talking shop like they would normally do in a locker room. 5-10 years ago, whoever was into conspiracy theories, you were shunned on. Now it's the cool topic. You see it all over the place. Taco Bell commercials, they do Illuminati symbolism, they do this, they do that, yada, yada, yada. Everyone wants to be a Satanist now, whatever. I'm not one to judge. But what we do is we don't do a conspiracy theory podcast where we try to convince the listeners and the viewers, because we're live on Twitch every Wednesday at 6:15. Not 7:05 TBS or 6:05 TBS. It's 6:15 on Twitch on Wednesdays. We don't try to sit there and convince people, hey, this scenario that was told to you is BS because we're right and you're wrong and this and that and the other. We present a topic, we address it from different viewpoints, from all different angles, and then we come to our own conclusions, and we invite the fans to come to their own conclusions. And if they want to touch base with us on Twitch or through social media, they're more than welcome to. I mean, there's a lot of topics that people don't really know the truth about. And when you tell them the truth about, and they're like, you're crazy. And then we look, okay, go do some research. Or here, look at this video on YouTube, or look at this document that was released, declassified by the CIA on their own website or the FBI. And they'll go, holy shit, I didn't know that. And then they start to wake up and they start to realize, like in the Matrix, you take the blue pill or the red pill, and they start to realize, wait, this is all a lie.
Now, do you? So the shows are on Wednesdays. So do you guys pick like a topic on, say, that following Thursday and be like, okay, this is what we're going to be talking about for the next week? So do the research, or is it just research that you've done over time?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, there's been times where we were going in talking about a certain topic, and the show just takes a left turn because it's not scripted. It's just 4 of us sitting there talking shop, and we might talk about something, and it leads to another topic. Just out of left field, that might be current. Something to do with politics, something to do with aliens, something to do with, giants, or something to do with 9/11 or JFK, the moon landing. I mean, those are all the famous conspiracy theories, which in itself was a term coined by the CIA to downplay people questioning the narrative and to belittle them.
That makes sense.
So when you're labeled a conspiracy theorist, to me, it's an insult. You're just a free thinker. And, nowadays, people who look for the truth are considered truth seekers, and that's a bad term. Let me ask you a question, Milo. When was trying to find out the truth a bad thing?
Seems like every day it is now.
Nowadays, but I'm saying coming up.
Yeah, but no.
Is the truth wrong, or would you rather live a lie?
That's a trick question. Sometimes maybe living a lie is better for you. Maybe it's not better to know the truth.
I digress. I disagree with you 100%. Truth has always set you free. It's always good to know what's going on, whether you like it or not. That's obviously your interpretation. But to be lied to, growing up, your mom tries to make you eat your vegetables. You don't want to eat your vegetables. You're gonna sit there until you're blue in the face, crying, throwing a fit, until you eat your vegetables. but you're going to eat your vegetables.
Right.
And then you grow up hating vegetables. And you want to get sponsored by Hardee's, and you want to get sponsored by Taco Bell. You want to get sponsored by all these fast food joints because you don't want to eat your vegetables because of being forced something that you didn't like. Same thing's going on now with the mainstream media. They only tell a one-sided story. The news was supposed to be subjective. It wasn't supposed to be an agendified source of news. News should not have an agenda.
Right. It should
Neither
not have-
left nor right nor conservative nor liberal.
Absolutely
It's just
agree.
stuff that happens brought to you. But now they realize, hey, wait a minute, we can get money from advertisers, and it's all about the cash. You always follow the money. You always follow the truth. You always get the truth. So that's the gist of the podcast. Four wrestlers talking conspiracy theories, ribbing each other, busting each other's balls at the same time for making some good on-the-fly comedy. You know?
Is there one of the four that maybe has way too off the wall theories at times?
No. I mean, like Big Sal from the FBI. He thinks CERN, which is a scientific building or foundation in Switzerland. They have something called a Large Hadron Collider, where they're colliding two atoms, and every time they collide, they're trying to create a black hole. They're trying to find out dark matter, the insides or the beginning of the universe. It's and coincidentally, something has occurred when they started doing this in 2012 called the Mandela effect. Now, what the Mandela effect is something that you remember from your past being different today. Case in point, Darth Vader, when he admits that he's Luke Skywalker's father, everyone goes, "Luke, I am your father." No, the line nowadays, it says, "No, I am your father." Well, that's not what I remember growing up. You know, another Star Wars Mandela effect is C-3PO having a silver leg on the right leg from the knee down in Episode 4. I don't remember that. He was always gold. Toys I had were always gold growing up. You know, little minor things like that. Mainly in like movies, songs.
I think one of the most famous is the Berenstain Bears.
Berenstain Bears or Mirror, Mirror on the Wall.
Right, yeah.
With Snow White.
Magic mirror on the wall.
Yeah, bullshit. It's Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. There's a show on ABC called Mirror, Mirror. Not Magic Mirror.
All right.
But the theory behind it is that every time they do that, they knock us into an alternate universe that runs parallel to the universe that was before, a different timeline. That's 99.9999999 whatever percent similar to the one that we came from. So that's a conspiracy theory. But Sal thinks it's hogwash and shenanigans, while the other three believe that it's the truth. You know what I mean? So there's certain topics that we agree on, certain topics we don't agree on. Religion. Stevie and I have faith. We're very religious. He's Catholic, I'm Greek Orthodox. We don't believe in organized religion. We do believe the churches are corrupt, but Bin and Sal are atheists. So it's always an interesting discussion when we come together. You know, flat Earth. Stevie doesn't want to admit it, but he leans a little bit towards the flat Earth argument because there's a lot of arguments that make sense. But to me, the Earth is round. I don't believe it's
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can be a traveler, the stuff that we do, and go in one way and go in the other and being able to get to where you want to be. I don't understand somebody who travels a lot being a flat earther.
Well, he's not a flat earther, Stevie, per se. He knows people who believe in the flat earth movement or whatever it's called and gives them argument points, and then we test these argument points and they come up being in favor of a flat earth. For example, he knows somebody whose father was an engineer and built bridges. So they would say, hey, did you ever take into consideration when you're building a bridge in your equation the curvature of the earth? Because obviously you're building a bridge over a large landmass, it's not going to be a flat plane.
Right.
The father, who's an engineer, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, I don't know how many years, but for a long time, was like, no, we never once considered putting a curvature for our equations. And supposedly the curvature of the earth, the equation, I don't know off the top of my head, is like, supposedly every foot or mile or square mile, the earth is supposed to dip a certain amount of inches. So, if something's like 500 feet away, or you're not supposed to see it, or there's some kind of mumbo jumbo, and it kind of attests to that theory. But if the Earth was round, it shouldn't. You know what I mean? So there's valid argument points on both ends, but I personally feel the Earth is round. So that's just me. But then we get into discussion all the time.
Yeah,
So it makes for interesting conversation, interesting debates, and that's it. We bust each other's balls, and we just talk about, questioning the narrative, never believing what you're reading, half of what you see.
Has it ever got heated, like
Yes.
super heated?
Yes, but not maliciously.
Right. Just okay.
Not Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, man, baby rant.
right.
Heated, you know what I mean?
Right.
We just had a disagreement that we'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind. He'd be like, no, you're out of your fucking mind. And, we get a little loud or whatever. So, that's it.
And then at the end of the day, it's all handshakes and.
Yeah, man, it's just four guys talking shit. I mean, talking shop. It's like what friends would do. You tell your friends, hey, go fuck yourself. He'd be like, no, well, go fuck yourself. Go fuck me, fuck you. And it's at the end of the day, all right, man, I'll get you a beer. Come on. That's the way it is. If you can't say fuck you to your friends or you can't bust each other's balls about it, then you guys aren't really friends.
Absolutely. Has anybody thought about writing a book? Or is
That's a good question. No, I mean, we've had a bunch of guests on who have written books and they have talked about certain subjects. The four of us writing a book together, that's actually a good idea. We might actually take you up on that. Interesting.
But I love the concept for people who, and you're not, as you said, you're not just trying to convince somebody that this is the way it is or this is the way it is. You're having an actual discussion.
Yeah.
And that's not, and a lot of Jesse Ventura, he has his point of view and he's going to tell you how it is without having that discussion. Have you tried to reach out to Jesse to have him on the show?
We have. I mean, obviously, a million people probably with a conspiracy podcast tried to reach out to Jesse Ventura because he's Jesse Ventura, former governor. Hopefully, he'll run for president because I think he has a lot of good viewpoints. I don't agree with everything he says, but the guy makes a lot of sense on other viewpoints. But we've had guests. We just had Adriana I can't keep pronouncing her long. DeCiccio. She was working with Lori Loomer for this 48 dark ban of social media. She just wrote an article for the Washington Pundit on MAGAphobia. Oh. So we just had a good discussion there. We had Dr. Dave Janda recently on with the Operation Freedom Files that he has. We've had guys, an individual by the name of, I'm so bad with names with the CTE from wrestling. What the hell's his name? He was working the Sandy Hook scenario. Wolfgang. He had a documentary called Dear Wolfgang, where he was a school advisor, former cop, former military guy. He was in charge of writing procedures for all school safety throughout the nation.
Okay.
So when Sandy Hook came out, he didn't question it at first, but then started seeing loopholes and that they didn't follow procedure correctly. So when he questioned that, people started vilifying him, started trying to belittle him and hurt his name and his reputation and his family. And he approached the scenario logistically and did his own audit, came out with his own analysis based on structural procedures that's in place within the system. He didn't come out and say, this kid didn't die or these parents are actors. He just said, hey, wait a minute, you guys are supposed to follow the guidelines. Why was this step skipped? Why was this not done? This is not supposed to happen. And they shunned him for it to the point where it got to lawsuits. And then when time came up for the lawsuits, the side of Sandy Hook decided to step out and not further pursue it because they know that they would have to go on the record. Interesting facts like that.
Yeah.
Now, everyone has their own opinion about Sandy Hook. It is what it is. Same thing with the moon landing, 9/11, so on and so forth. But that's what we're talking about. We've had guys on the show, Timothy Alberino. We talked about giants. How giants were, people have found bones of giants all over the world, especially here in the United States back in the 1800s. Even Abraham Lincoln attests to it. But supposedly the Smithsonian would scoop it up and get rid of it because it doesn't fit their plan of Darwinism. So there's always an agenda. Like I said in a lot of the podcasts, you follow the money, you find the truth. So, stuff like that. And then, it's time we get silly. Like I said, we bust each other's balls like we would in the locker room. If someone went, hey, Papadon, what do you think about this? And I'll be like, it's CERN's fault. And it has nothing to do with CERN. And then Sal gets heated. Shit like that. Or Stevie and I will bust each other's balls and we're like, oh, we love each other. After I love you, Stevie. I love you too, Papadon. Shit like that. It's all fun and games. But it's a fun time. And it's something different. People look at us as professional athletes or actors or whatever,
Right.
they don't think we have a brain. They don't think, oh, these guys can do wrestling and be an intellectual, which is horseshit. To be honest with you, it's another conspiracy theory within itself. I mean, I'm a very smart individual, skipped a grade, graduated college. You know, I work in a very distinguished field outside of professional wrestling, so I'm good with academics. I'm good in the ring. I draw very well. I draw comic books, so you know, it's not like I'm a one-trick pony. And there's a lot of individuals in the wrestling business like that who, you know what I'm saying, you would never think, because once you hear, I'm a professional wrestler, you get stigmatized. It's almost like being a porno actor. You know?
Absolutely.
People just look at you and they stereotype you. So it's a different flavor of ice cream for many demographics of individuals. Welcome. Like I said, Conspiracy Horsemen. It's live on Twitch, 6:15 on Wednesdays. We're on all platforms. All you have to do is Google it or iTunes, Conspiracy Horsemen. You'll get the information. Listen to an episode. You don't like it? Cool. You like it? Cool. Whatever.
I'm actually going to go check it out right now, like right after this. We'll make sure that I subscribe to it. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to go get ready for some Ronin Pro Wrestling here. And maybe go kill some vampires. Not kill them.
No.
Just pin them.
Abraham Lincoln's going to do a run-in on my match.
Oh my God.
Take out Grant Grell tonight.
That's going to be the greatest. Oh my God. I would. Yes. All right. Thank you guys for watching. And check out Conspiracy Horsemen. And we'll see you guys next week. Where are you living at nowadays?
In Greece.
In Greece? Man,
Corinthos, Greece.
I've never. What is that?
Corinthos, Greece.
Corintho.
Like Corinthian leather or the Corinthians in the Bible.
Corinthos.
See, the Greeks invented the Bible. You're welcome.
Did they?
We invented everything. You guys want to pass your history classes? History 101. Greeks invented everything. That's it.